I do. I
think.
need and then you got to get this view too. Wait, right here. Oh, see, there you go.
Oh, look at
I usually don't go close up because I'm not that visually impelled. You know what I mean? So how many podcasts do you do where people just chug down beers while they're doing it?
Basically Nagler's. I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's probably it.
He gets a drink in it. But all right, so let's talk about the offense. All right, I'll ask you a question, you answer, and I'll drink. That's how we do this. No, but let's start with Aaron Rodgers. Like, he seems like he's having fun most weeks. Like, because everyone always talks about his facial expressions. Like, oh, he doesn't seem like he's having fun. He's like, you watch Twitter or whatever. He doesn't seem like he has fun. But sometimes he plays great and he looks really mad and he's telling a guy, you're supposed to go ahead,
Yeah.
And then sometimes he's just smiling the whole game, even though things kind of aren't going good. Then they kind of turn. So I don't know if it matters if he's smiling or not. I think it's a turtleneck. He talked about Pat McAfee. So I think he plays well with the turtleneck, like when it's cold. But what are your thoughts, like, on how Aaron Rodgers played this year?
Yeah, I think he's played at a really high level, Matt. And it's funny. I had people ask. I mean, honestly, basically my entire time on the beat, ask about that kind of stuff with the facial expressions and his reactions. The one story I always like to tell is that it's like, I'll tell you what. If you follow me around with a camera all day in my job, if I have a 10, 12-hour day here, you can ask Taylor Rogers this, the guy that shoots our Packers daily. I'm not always the funnest guy either to be around. And, he has all eyes of the world on him at all times. But I think what matters the most is when you hear guys like Lucas Patrick talk about, Rodgers pulling him aside in the cafeteria. And there might be an incident on the field, might give him some stern warnings, but then also understanding what he has to do to get out of that guy, that best version of himself. And I think that's one thing Rodgers has always had a very good feel for. Knowing when he needs a heavy touch and knowing when he needs a delicate touch and what is exactly going to work to motivate a guy. So this particular season, Matt, it's funny because someone mentioned in Insider Inbox, one of the submissions was like, hey, is Rodgers, do you think he could go back to back with the MVPs? And, at first blush, I was thinking, well, I mean, it wasn't like last season, but then I went and looked at it. Russell Wilson came back down to earth. Kyler Murray came back down to earth. Joe Burrow came back down to earth. Rodgers has been pretty consistent.